there's almost no uncertainty when it comes to the approval of Ether ETFs like we had with spot Bitcoin ETFs, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's right, because we already saw the 19B4 forms approved by the SEC, so we pretty much knew that then it was just about waiting for the other forms that the issuers file, known as the S1s. At this point, we know that by today, the issuers have to file an updated S1. That might not be the last round of filings. We may see another, and then likely after that, most of my sources are saying we'll see an approval or a green light from the SEC in the next few weeks for these funds.
And now, one thing we're looking for is the fees. Obviously, there was a fee war before the spot Bitcoin ETFs came out. They're all between 20 and 30 basis points, which I think helped our cause. That is cheap relative to the rest of the world. Van Eck, I believe, came in at 19 or 18, which set the bar pretty low. BlackRock is what everybody's watching, though, because people have to orbit around BlackRock.
Right.
Any idea where they might come in or when they'll update their fees?
It's hard to say. I mean, if we don't get them today, then we'll know for sure that we need another round of filings, and so we'll essentially just be waiting more. But yeah, Franklin came in with 19 basis points. Van Eck has 20 basis points. So yeah, BlackRock's probably going to get flows regardless, just because of the power that they have within the ETF industry. But that'll be probably a big talking point if they do come in lower than 19 basis points.
Yeah, we'll see, because 19 basis points, I mean, that is to the bone. That is dirt cheap. So obviously we're keeping an eye on fees here. But once we get past the launch, finally, approval and then launch, of course, what could demand look like? Obviously, the spot Bitcoin ETFs, they blew past everyone's projections. But what does it look like when it comes to these spot Ether ETFs, potentially?
Right. It's hard to say, because a lot of crypto traders that use Ether, they use it for staking activities and actually paying for NFT transactions. So they actually probably wouldn't want an Ether ETF, because they actually want to use the underlying holdings. However, we know that I don't really want to underestimate the flows, because for Bitcoin ETFs, they've already taken in a net $15 billion this year. IBIT alone, fourth best ETF. I mean, you guys know this, but in terms of inflows, fourth best ETF this year. So I don't want to say that they're not going to get as many flows as the Bitcoin ETFs, because who knows? I mean, we were really all taken by surprise.
So a lot of the ETH people have problems with me, because I once referred to Ether ETFs as small potatoes versus the Bitcoin ETFs. That was a little dismissive, but I do think 20% of the flows and assets is where I come down. The US Ether futures ETFs have only taken in 11% of what the US Bitcoin futures have done. In other countries, it's a little higher. Anyway, the problem is, how do you describe Ether in like a bullet point to a boomer? Bitcoin is digital gold. What is Ether?
Yeah, that's a good question, especially if we want a lot of these, if a lot of the flows need to come from those traders that don't already hold Ether. The crypto people know the use case for Ether. They're likely not the ones that these issuers are targeting for demand. I'm not sure exactly what, a financial advisor is going to tell their boomer client, older clientele about the use case. Beyond, this is speculation. If you want to, speculate on the price movement of another, the world's second largest cryptocurrency, this is the way that you can do it in a very cheap way.